What's going on, guys? It's Zach here. Bring you guys another fantasy football video. Sorry this one's coming out a little bit later than 7 a.m. I was pretty busy just actually watching football for the first time last night, so super excited to do that. But I still wanted to get you guys a video out today, and this one I'm going to be going over all of the teams that were drafted in the subscriber league, and I'll be giving you guys my overall feelings towards each team, what I would do if I were each of those managers, and giving you guys sort of an overall grade. So yeah, really excited about this league. It should be a lot of fun. I'll try and keep you guys updated throughout the course of the regular season, let you guys know how I'm doing compared to the field. That way you guys can see, maybe if I'm actually good at what I'm talking about or if I'm just full of crap. So, yeah, with that, let's just get into the first team here. We'll start with Mark Lambert's Lunatics. Starting us off with quarterback position, he's got Justin Herbert. That's obviously fantastic. His running backs are Tony Pollard and Dameon Pierce. His three wide receivers are A.J. Brown, Terry McLaurin, and George Pickens. His tight end is D.J. Hawkinson, and his flex is J.K. Dobbins. Really solid there. No true holes there anywhere. Obviously, he's got three really good running backs. There are three guys that I would have ranked inside the top 24, guys that I'm really excited about. His wide receivers are a little thin. Having to start Terry McLaurin and George Pickens in week one is a little bit scary. On the bench at wide receiver position, he has JSN, Treylon Burks, Michael Gallup, and Zay Jones. Of those four, I think you could only realistically count on JSN to actually contribute throughout the course of the regular season. Treylon Burks could have some spike weeks as well. At bench running back, he's got A.J. Dillon, Tank Bigsby, and that's it. And at bench tight end, he has Dalton Schultz. Obviously, I don't think he'll ever really play Dalton Schultz, given that he has T.J. Hawkinson. It could be just a bit of a waste of a roster spot there. Overall, this team's really solid. The running backs are great. He's got a top five tight end and a top five quarterback. Receivers are good, not great. So overall, I'll probably give this team a B plus. I think it could do a lot, but really going to be banking on the upside of Terry McLaurin and George Pickens to hit. And if they don't, he's going to be really dependent on a guy like JSN. Moving on to the next team here, we're going to go over to Sam Eichel. It's just Team Eichel here. Starting us off with a bang, we've got the quarterback being Josh Allen. That's obviously fantastic. At running back, though, we've got some question marks. We've got Jamal Williams and Cam Akers as starting running backs. No running back in the flex at the bench position. On the bench, his only running backs are Rashad Penny, Devon Achane, Kareem Hunt, and Tyjae Spears. Nobody that I really would be confident in starting at any point over the course of the season unless things break right for them. So after Jamal Williams is no longer the starter for the Saints, that's obviously a big red flag. He's got 3 weeks to figure it out while Alvin Kamara is out, but especially if Cam Akers doesn't hit, this running back room could be a really big mess, to be completely honest. At wide receiver, though, they made up for it a little bit. They've got Jamar Chase, Drake London, Garrett Wilson, and Jacoby Myers. Jerry Jeudy's on the bench to go with Odell Beckham Jr. and Rondale Moore. Overall, I really like this wide receiver room. Chase and Garrett Wilson should give you two top 10 options. And then between Drake London and Jeudy, I think you can fill out those other spots once Jeudy's back. So really solid starting lineup overall. George Kittle at tight end is okay, not great. I'm a lot lower than him than consensus, but I think he'll be a good player, probably like a fringe top 7 tight end this year. He should have some spike weeks. The bench is a little thin. I'm pretty skeptical that really any of these guys outside of Jeudy are going to contribute for him over the course of the season, so I would be worried about an injury really sinking his team a little bit. I might be looking to maybe potentially trade Josh Allen for a slightly lesser quarterback, trade Josh Allen for a Justin Herbert plus a running back or something like that, but overall, really good team. I'll probably give this one a B just because of the big question marks at running back, but no huge red flags. I think this team can still be really competitive this season. Up next, we'll go to Monsters Inc. That's by Bobby Wiskowski. At the quarterback position, we've got Lamar Jackson, really solid there. Running backs are Najee Harris, Travis Etienne, and then on the bench they have Damian Harris only, not Damian Pierce. A little bit concerning with the running back position. I like the top two guys. They should both be top 20 options, although I don't really think they're going to be top 10 running backs this season. I've been pretty vocal, especially about Etienne, how I do believe he's probably going to be an underperformer based off of his ADP. At wide receiver, though, it's pretty good. We've got Chris Olave, Devonta Smith, Brandon Ayuk, and Christian Kirk to go with Zay Flowers, Juju, and Chark on the bench. Really solid there. No true top 5 upside here, but Chris Olave and Devonta Smith is really solid. Really excited about those guys, and I do like Christian Kirk and Brandon Ayuk, especially in PPR formats. Sam Laporta at tight end is okay. Obviously, it's not special. You obviously went with Sam Laporta and Dalton Kincaid. There's upside there. Sam Laporta did show out in week 1 nicely, so that's something to be excited about. Your bench is a little bit thin. I'd be a little bit concerned about guys not really being able to contribute for you on a regular basis. At the wide receiver position, you're okay. You've got 6 guys that I think could be useful throughout the course of the season. But at your running back spots, I would be a little bit concerned. You only have one bench running back. There's a lot to be concerned about if something were to happen to Najee or Etienne, and I don't expect Damian Harris to really contribute on a regular basis. So I'd look to improve the running backs here. I'll probably give this team a B as well, just because it's thin at tight end, and then obviously the running back position is one injury away from being a disaster here. Up next, we'll go to Jesse, drafted by Daniel Minix. At quarterback, we've got Justin Fields. The running backs are James Conner, Miles Sanders, Rashad White, to go with Khalil Herbert and DeAndre Swift and Zach Charbonnet on the bench. One of the more complete running back rooms we've seen. A lot of depth here so far. At wide receiver, they've got CeeDee Lamb, Marquise Brown, and Brandon Cooks, to go with Quentin Johnston and Nico Collins on the bench. Really solid. I like both of that overall. There's no real star power there, and I would be a little bit concerned about Marquise Brown potentially busting early on in the season, and you don't really have anybody that you can rely on your bench. So a little bit of concern at the wide receiver spot. Tight end is Travis Kelce. Obviously, Cole Kmet had to start for you this week with Travis Kelce being injured. I would recommend having put Travis Kelce into your IR slot, but it looks like you missed the opportunity to do that now that he's locked into your lineup. But overall, a really solid team. Once Travis Kelce comes back, I think you could be a really top squad team. I am a little bit concerned that you don't really have much star power anywhere outside of Kelce and CeeDee Lamb. I think it could just be an overall average team with very few guys that can really take you over the top. So you might want to look to potentially package some depth. Maybe you could trade Miles Sanders and Zach Charbonnet, get you maybe a slightly higher performing running back, get yourself a Jahmyr Gibbs, buy low on Jahmyr Gibbs after his bad performance last night, or something like that. But overall, a good team. I'll give this one a B as well. Next, we'll go to Dumpster Fire. This is my week 1 opponent, actually. The quarterback's Geno Smith, so obviously probably going to be the largest hole in the roster, but by no means a big issue there. At running back, they've got Derrick Henry and Josh Jacobs. That is really solid, 2 top 10 guys. A little bit of concern with their age, more so with Derrick Henry there, but as long as they're healthy, that's going to be one of the best running back duos in the league. At wide receiver, it's 3-4 really great assets, nobody that's super special, but Amari Cooper, DK Metcalf, and Keenan Allen should be really solid to go with Deontay Johnson in the flex. Really like that wide receiver core. At tight end, you took a gamble, went with Kyle Pitts. Can't knock you for the upside there. He's a guy that could easily be a top five tight end this season, so really excited about him. On your bench, though, you don't really have any reasonable depth here. You've got Deshaun Watson at quarterback. I think that's a totally fine pick there. You could sort of stream him with Geno Smith each and every week. Deion Jackson, Elijah Mitchell, Jerick McKinnon are your bench running backs. Nobody there that I'm super confident in really being able to start. Jerick McKinnon didn't really have a clear role last night either, so I'd be a little bit concerned that he's not going to be as useful in the flex spot as you might want him to be. At bench wide receiver, you've got Bateman, Dobbs, and Rashee Rice. Rashee Rice actually looked quite good for the Chiefs. I think he's got an opportunity to potentially be good. Dobbs and Bateman are also some decent late-round dart throws, so I like that overall. Main concern would just be that your bench running backs don't really offer anything, so if something does happen to Derrick Henry or Josh Jacobs, you would be in a big world of hurt. But overall, a really good team. I like it quite a bit. I'll probably give this one a B+. Up next, we'll go to Team Gastelum by Davis Gastelum. At quarterback, they've got Patrick Mahomes. That's obviously super exciting. One of the highest-end quarterbacks. It does look like he is going to be dependent on Travis Kelce to be a true top 3 option again. I'm a little bit concerned that none of the receivers were able to step up last night. At running back, they've got Bijan Robinson and Aaron Jones to go with Dalvin Cook, Tyler Algier, and Leonard Fournette on their bench, all along with Kenneth Gainwell. Really solid top 3 there. Bijan and Aaron Jones should be fantastic, and Dalvin Cook should be usable probably the whole season, to be completely honest. Really like that group. At wide receiver, you've got Jalen Waddle, and it really does fall off quite a bit. You're starting Sky Moore and Adam Thielen in week 1. That's a little bit concerning, especially given that Sky Moore looks like he's not going to hit. At bench wide receiver, you only have Jaden Reed and Jameson Williams, so you are really hurting at the wide receiver position here. Your tight end is Tyler Higbee. That's solid, especially with Cooper Kupp. I don't think you can do much worse than him. So I like that overall. My main concern with this roster is going to be that the running backs and quarterback are really all you have. Your wide receivers after Jalen Waddle are going to be a really big issue for you. And if you're starting Sky Moore and Adam Thielen in week 1 and you don't really have anybody on your bench, there's a lot of concern there for me. I would highly recommend trying to pick up as many waiver wire wide receivers as you can. Try and find some value there. You could probably drop Leonard Fournette and Taysom Hill and get a couple wide receivers. You also probably don't need Brock Purdy because you have Patrick Mahomes. So there are things you can do to get yourself some extra depth at the wide receiver position here. I don't like your starting wide receivers enough to give you a very high grade here, so I'll probably give this team a B-. Next up, we've got Big Hurt, drafted by Ben Hurt. Quarterback here is going to be Dak Prescott. The starting running backs are Raheem Mostert, James Cook, and that's it. At wide receiver, you've got Stephon Diggs, Chris Godwin, Mike Williams, and DeAndre Hopkins. That's really solid, especially to go with your tight end and Mark Andrews. Bench running backs are Breece Hall and Javonte Williams, along with Antonio Gibson. So a lot of upside there. A lot of guys that I think you can rely on eventually, and I really like that you're taking the smart approach by just sort of waiting to see what happens with Breece Hall and Javonte. Bench wide receivers are Michael Pittman, Jordan Addison, and Elijah Moore. Really solid there. You've got a ton of depth at the wide receiver and running back positions, along with your bench tight end being Evan Ingram. That's really solid. I might recommend trying to trade Evan Ingram to somebody who doesn't have a tight end in this league. You don't necessarily need him because you have Mark Andrews. I know Mark Andrews is questionable this week, but Evan Ingram's a guy that you're never going to be starting on a consistent basis over Mark Andrews. It doesn't make sense for you to really have him. Maybe you could package him with one of your running backs to try and get an upgrade there, but overall really solid. Nothing special with the quarterback position. I'm a little bit concerned about Dak Prescott this season, so I'll give this team a B+. Didn't quite earn an A- because running backs aren't special. Your only real studs on the team are going to be Stephon Diggs and Mark Andrews, and your quarterback spot's a little bit concerning, but really good team. A B+ is a really solid grade here. Up next, we've got the Chilean Condors, drafted by Vincent Ferrari. Starting us off with a really fun quarterback option, we got Jalen Hurts. The running backs on this team are Joe Mixon, Jahmyr Gibbs, Isaiah Pacheco, Alvin Kamara, and that's it. At wide receiver, they've got Deebo Samuel, Calvin Ridley, DJ Moore, Darnell Mooney, and Tyler Boyd, along with Hunter Renfrow. Overall, running backs are really solid here. Obviously, it didn't look great for Isaiah Pacheco and Jahmyr Gibbs in week 1, but Isaiah Pacheco actually was promising, if you ask me. He played on 57% of the snaps for the Kansas City Chiefs. He got a 10% target share. Those are pretty decent numbers for him. I do expect that we see a guy like CEH sort of fade out of the rotation as well over the course of the season. The Chiefs' offense should be better as well. It'll give Isaiah Pacheco more touchdown upside. If Pacheco had fallen in the end zone last night, it would be a whole different story about how we're talking about him. Jahmyr Gibbs looked really great as well. He's not somebody that I'm scared of. He looked fantastic on the touches he was given. Dan Campbell was honest with us about saying that they were going to ease him into his role as a rookie, so I'm not worried about Jahmyr Gibbs at all. I'd in fact be trying to buy low on him if you can. He'll probably make the buy low video next week. At wide receiver, I'm a little bit concerned. You don't have anybody that I think is a guarantee. Deebo Samuel, Calvin Ridley, and DJ Moore are all three guys that we're expecting to have big seasons, but there's a lot of question marks surrounding them. Your only receivers on your bench are Darnell Mooney, Tyler Boyd, and Hunter Renfrow. Nobody that I'd want to start on a regular basis, and Darnell Mooney along with DJ Moore is not something that I would really recommend. I don't think you're ever going to want to start both of those guys, so I don't really think I would roster them. At tight end, you've got Juwan Johnson. That's okay. I like his odds of performing later on in the season, but a little bit concerned that he just might not be someone that you can count on a regular basis, and then Tyler Conklin's not someone that's super exciting either. So overall, I think this team's good, not great. I'll probably give it a B. Running backs are solid, quarterback's great. You could probably stand to upgrade your tight end a little bit, and maybe you could try and package Alvin Kamara and one of your running backs once Kamara is back to really get a stud at the running back position, because you don't necessarily you can't play 4 running backs in this roster, so having 4 good ones isn't going to do you a whole lot. So up next, we're going to go to Team Tyler. I'm drafted by David Saka. Team name probably needs to be changed, but regardless, this team sort of went really high upside in this draft. It took Joe Burrow at quarterback. They've got Christian McCaffrey and Jonathan Taylor at running back. Wide receivers are Tyreek Hill and Cooper Kupp to go with KJ Osborne. Tight ends Chig Okonkwo. The flex is Devin Singletary. Bench is a lot of just sort of hopefuls. We've got the Patriots defense, Gus Edwards, Evan Hull, Kyren Williams. Then we've got Van Jefferson and Chase Claypool. A lot of concerns with this team. This team obviously has a lot of work to do before Sunday. Certainly big question marks surrounding Cooper Kupp and Jonathan Taylor. Both these players should get moved into the IR, and they're going to have work to do. They'll have to probably slot Van Jefferson into their starting lineup, take a look at waivers, and figure something out at the running back position. Overall, tight end position's a little weak as well. You only have 2 good wide receivers on this team. Osborne's somebody that you can play maybe early on in the season, but not that I'm super excited about going forward. And you only have 1 running back that you can rely on a weekly basis with Christian McCaffrey. So this team's probably going to struggle early on in the season. There's no real depth on the roster. There's going to have to be a lot of waiver wire moves, and I'm a little bit concerned. But if Cooper Kupp and Jonathan Taylor can come back and perform at a high level, this team could still be extremely competitive. I'm going to give this team a C, probably the worst grade of any team here, just because 2 of the top 5 players on this roster are probably going to miss the first month of the season. And on top of that, there's not really enough depth on the bench or even in the starting lineup that I really want to rely on counting on this team going forward. So a lot of work to do for this team, but there's enough there that they can maybe make it work. Next, we've got Steelbreaker, drafted by Marv Usher. Starting us off at the quarterback spot, we've got Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence is just a really solid option, not good, not bad. Nick Chubb and Ramondre Stevenson in the running back spots to go with Kenneth Walker At the flex, really solid running back room there. I love Nick Chubb and Ramondre quite a bit this season. It is a little bit concerning that Ramondre missed practice on Friday, but it sounds like he's still in line to play. Kenneth Walker also is dealing with his groin injury again, so we'll see what happens with him on Sunday. But overall, he's a really solid option. At wide receiver, you've got Christian Watson, Jahan Dotson, and Cortland Sutton. Christian Watson's going to be missing Sunday's game, so you'll have to probably put Mike Evans in for him. Gabe Davis gives you enough depth to go with Jonathan Mingo and Marvin Mims as well, so you can definitely survive that. As long as Dallas Goedert at tight end, that's really great as well. Really solid overall roster. I don't think you have really any star power at the wide receiver positions. That'd be my main concern here. You only have Christian Watson's probably your wide receiver one. He's already missing week one. A little bit of concern there, but overall the team's solid. Enough depth here that you can certainly make things work. I like the dart throws you threw on Roschon Johnson and Jerome Ford, two guys that could certainly step into a larger role and you don't need to rely on early on because your three are really good up top. So overall a good roster. I think it was smart of you to take Tua as well as Trevor Lawrence. So really good team, but not great really anywhere. Your running backs are definitely going to be the anchor of the roster. I'll give the team a B+. I don't think it's by any means the best team in the league, but it's certainly not bad. I think you can do a lot with it, and it's definitely something to build on. Next up, we've got Ofreshka by Oleshka Eveson. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing any of these names. Quarterback position is going to be a little bit weak here. They're starting off the season with Sam Howell. Their running backs are Austin Eckler and Ezekiel Elliott. At wide receiver, they've got Justin Jefferson, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Kadarius Toney, and Allen Lazard. Big oof, haven't played Kadarius Toney in week one, but not too bad. At least Amon-Ra helped offset that for you. At tight end, you got Darren Waller, who's again now dealing with a hamstring injury. We could see him miss Sunday's game, but he's obviously got upside to be elite this season. On your bench, you've got Paris Campbell, Kenny Pickett, Deonta Foreman, Curtis Samuel, Ty Chandler, Puka Nacua, and Michael Wilson. Nobody there that I'm really confident in on a week-to-week basis. You are going to need this team to stay healthy. I think you do already have a hole at your wide receiver position because of Kadarius Toney clearly being a starter for you. I wouldn't really be confident starting Allen Lazard either, and you don't really have any other bench options that I'd want to start. So a little bit of work to do there, especially in the running back position as well. You're starting Ezekiel Elliott week one. He is seemingly your best option, but I don't love it. I don't want to be starting him unless Ramondre's out at this point. So you really are going to be depending on Justin Jefferson, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and Austin Eckler to really carry this roster. You're really hoping that Darren Waller stays healthy all season as well. A lot of concern for me, but if you can find some guys that can plug holes for Ezekiel Elliott, Allen Lazard, and Kadarius Toney, you can certainly make this team work. Probably going to be streaming the quarterback position all season as well, so hopefully you can find something better than Sam Howell, or maybe Sam Howell just plays really well this season. But overall, I'll give this team a B-. There's just too many holes for me to give it anything better than that, but it's good enough and has enough star power that you can certainly make it work. So that'll do it for the other 11 teams. With that, I'll go into grading my team as well. Started us off with the quarterback position. I had to wait on the quarterback spot. Ended up with Kirk Cousins. My running backs are Saquon Barkley, David Montgomery, and Alexander Mattison. My receivers are Devontae Adams, T. Higgins, and Tyler Lockett. And my tight end is David Njoku. On my bench, I have Pratt Freiermuth as well. Sort of lets me play matchups with my tight end position. My bench running backs are Samaje Perine, Jalen Warren, and Brian Robinson. My bench quarterback is Anthony Richardson, and my bench wide receivers are Michael Thomas and Tank Dell. I'm a little thin at wide receiver. I only roster 5, and the only one that I could really confidently start on the bench to start the season is Michael Thomas. At running back, I do think I've got plenty of depth. I've got 6 running backs that I'm pretty confident in. Even Jalen Warren being my RB6 is really nice. I've got a lot of depth there. At quarterback and tight end position, I certainly have nothing special. Sort of took the wait and take someone safe approach by taking Kirk Cousins and then pairing him with an Anthony Richardson, somebody that I think has a lot of upside. At tight end position, I got 2 guys that I have ranked in my top 8, but nobody that's a real difference maker. So there's some holes there, but my running backs are great. I'm really confident in Saquon, Montgomery, and Madison. My wide receivers are awesome as well. Overall, I'd probably give this team a B+. I think it is one of the better teams in the league. I think I'm really set up to perform really well throughout the course of the season. Just want to do my best throughout the course of the season to potentially trade up at the tight end or quarterback position, or hope that Anthony Richardson can break out. And then I'm really hoping that I can find a little bit more depth at the wide receiver position as well. But I really like my team. I think I've got a good shot to win this league, and it should be a lot of fun going about it. So, yeah, it was really fun having this draft. Like I said, I'm super excited about this league, and really think it's going to be a lot of fun. So I'll try and keep you guys updated on it throughout the course of the season. One other announcement as well before I end the video is I will be doing my weekly matchup breakdowns. They'll come out tomorrow morning, so you guys will get to see my breakdown of every single matchup this week and sort of go over which guys I think you should be starting, which guys I would be avoiding starting. And then on Sunday morning at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 12 p.m. Eastern Time, I will be doing a quick live stream. I'll be doing just like a general breaking injury news and all that as it comes in, and I'll keep you guys up to date as well and make sure that I can answer any live questions you guys have in terms of start-sit questions and all that, and then I'll be able to send you on your way to hopefully go win your week 1 matchups. So been a lot of fun. We got football here. We finally had our first game yesterday, and 2 days from now we'll have a full Sunday of football. So super excited. Really love making these videos. Really love seeing the channel grow, and I really do appreciate all the support you guys have seen. So I want to thank you guys so much, and I'll catch you next time. Thank you guys for watching. If you haven't already, please be sure to subscribe to the channel, like the video, check out these other videos here if you haven't. If you want more content, please feel free to follow me on Twitter at RealSteelFFB. I'll be more active on there as the season goes on. Thanks. Catch you later.